this is one of, again, apparently I have many favorite topics, but one of the things about Reiki is that it's always working because we live in an energetic universe, because we are energy. That energy is constantly and always working for our greatest and highest good. But what's for our greatest and highest good may not always look the way we want it to in our heads. And so there are so many different things that can happen when you start consciously allowing Reiki to flow through your life. Is your life can be turned completely upside down. It can have a complete rearranging, and for a while that can look like chaos. One of my favorite things to say here is when you're cleaning out a closet, it always gets messier before it gets better because you have to get all the stuff out of the closet. And so sometimes Reiki works the same way. Sometimes it gets quote unquote worse before it gets better because you're bringing all of that out of the closet so that it can be organized, so that you can donate the things you don't need and you can put everything back the way that it was meant to, in this clarity and this peace. But when you have a session with someone and it's not working or they didn't experience healing, it doesn't mean that something didn't happen. Remember, you're viewing Reiki from your five senses, from your eyes, from your touch, from what you're hearing from your client. But energy doesn't work on the level of your five senses. Energy works on such a bigger, broader, more in-depth scale that anything we perceive with this is ultimately limited. And so what we perceive as no effect or not working could in fact be the deepest effect. And it's just taking a moment to take root and really sprout and plant that seed so that it can blossom later on. Sometimes now isn't the time to blossom. Maybe it's the winter of their soul, if you will, and the flowers aren't meant to bloom yet. That comes later. That doesn't mean that the Reiki didn't work. It doesn't mean that you didn't facilitate healing. It doesn't mean that there wasn't a change. It just means that there's a moment to, again, set your ego aside, set yourself aside, and let yourself acknowledge that energy works deeper and broader and bigger and more than anything you can sense with this. And so you take a moment and you bring yourself back and you allow yourself to step out and recognize that maybe that effect, maybe that change was just something that I'm not perceiving yet, something that was deeper. And this stage now of them not experience a change, maybe that's what they needed most right now. Maybe experiencing that flower blooming would have been too soon. It wasn't what they needed on this point in their journey. It doesn't mean it won't happen. It doesn't mean that Reiki wasn't working. It just means that now this is what it's time for. This is the experience that everyone needed to have in the moment. And it plays into that intention of everything flowing for your greatest and highest good. And RJ, I know that this is one of your favorite topics too, so I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, well, I think back to what sparked us to create this webinar tonight, right? And it was in fact a conversation that we were having with someone else that, they're trying to help someone, and I don't recall, but it specifics, but with a grave medical condition. That aspect of the conversation I do recall. And what I found was interesting was, the Reiki helped to reduce the client's symptoms. It hadn't, at least the last time we had talked with this practitioner, the diagnosis hadn't changed, but the symptoms were more palatable for the client. And the practitioner was really frustrated because she really cared for this person and really wanted to allow the Reiki to heal this person. And so I find it very interesting when we start to talk about this topic, because two things come to mind for me. One is, first, what is our soul contract, right? So that person may have something they need to experience and go through still for their highest good or someone else's highest good. And we don't know that, right? So allowing that Reiki to flow, and when it doesn't heal, that doesn't mean it didn't work, right? So I love the fact that, it helped his symptoms and it improved his quality of life in that time period. So to me, that's a huge win. And really getting comfortable with this idea of the soul contract and why are we here, right? And being comfortable with that. The other piece that really comes to mind for me is it's a two-way street, if you will. I believe there's two main components in having what some may call a successful Reiki session. And I get this straight from personal experiences. I've had clients that have come in and said, look, I love your energy. I love what I hear you talking about. I've had Reiki before and it didn't work. Why should I try this with you? And here's my response to that. Reiki is a two-way street. So first, how open is the client to healing? And there's a lot of conversations running around. I don't want to get off topic, but this is actually one reason why I charge what I charge. I'm not even competitive in my area. I'm like out of the ballpark. But I want people that are coming in that want to invest in themselves, because then they're open to receive and they're there. And one of the things I love that Christine has taught me is to ask the client, are you ready to receive? Are you ready to heal? Right before I begin the session, because it's like it just opens them up. And then the second component is the practitioner, right? Is the practitioner getting out of the way? Or is the practitioner coming in with their own agenda, their own personal agenda, right? So the client needs to really be open to receiving, and the practitioner really needs to come from a space of, I'm here to hold space for you. I'm not here to judge the outcome, right? Or to judge the session. I'm holding space and allowing the Reiki to do what it knows to do with its infinite ancient wisdom. I don't know that. And for me, what I find is when those two things happen, that's when the magic happens. So would love to hear your thoughts on that, or, what your thoughts on that are, Izzy.
Yeah, absolutely. And comment down in the chat, what do you guys feel is that power behind can Reiki not work? What is your thought on that? How do you feel about those times where you start wondering, did I do it right? Was it working? How do you feel about things like soul contracts and how your clients experience a session? But I think for me, it really ties into this second point here of losing your connection to Reiki. It is about that. It's a contract in a way, not only with your own soul and what you came here to experience, but between you and the client. And there is no one right way or wrong way to experience Reiki, because it is the energy. And we all came here with unique physical forms and unique energetic forms and soul contracts and so many layers and facets of our being that we weren't designed to all feel energy in the same way. We were designed to have a unique experience in this time and space. And so part of this idea of losing your connection to Reiki for me is really about acknowledging that you can't lose that connection because you are Reiki. It's just about how open you are to that, which RJ is something you spoke to so beautifully, is this idea of when the client comes in, you want them to be as open as they can be. Because at the end of the day, we are all Reiki. We are already connected. We are already healed. We are already whole. And it's just about opening up to that and coming back to that true nature, that pure nature of who we are, beyond the layers of our physical selves, beyond the layers of the energies in this realm and this 3D reality and our five senses and everything in between. It's about tapping into that and being open to it and allowing yourself to acknowledge that, and for the client to do the same. So you can't lose your connection to Reiki because you are Reiki. So in those moments where it feels like, have I lost it? The question really becomes not have you lost it, but have you closed off to it for one reason or another? Not because it's bad, not because it's wrong, but because we're human and life is heavy and it turns when you don't want it to turn and it goes straight when you wish something else was happening, and it just is what it is. And it is this beautiful and intense journey of us rediscovering ourselves. And that rediscovery is discovering that we are Reiki. It's reconnecting to that true, energetic, pure nature and being open, 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 open to it. To me, that is the journey of this life, and that is the ultimate meaning of Reiki. And its ultimate energetic power, like the title of this webinar says, is in opening up to it and allowing ourselves to remember who we are at the core of it. So, that being said, today we've covered everything from what is Reiki to distance Reiki to the power of intention to what if Reiki stops working to how to interact with your client to how to explain Reiki, so many different things. And at Reiki Cafe, we are so passionate about supporting you all wherever you are on your Reiki journey.
So we have a very fun Reiki Level 1 course coming up. And what I love about this is, and if you've had a chance to look at it, it's multidimensional online Reiki training. And so what's included with that is 4 hours of self-paced video trainings and 4 hours of live online training with Izzy and myself. So Izzy and I will both be teaching the Reiki Level 1. But here's where it gets really cool. So I just love this. Like this whole concept just right? It just blows my mind. So we're doing a multidimensional Reiki attunement. What does that even mean? I don't know. No, I do kind of. so so Christine will actually be attuning us while we're attuning the students. And I literally start getting goosebumps when I say that out loud, because it's just, I mean, after this conversation too, we've just talked about quantum physics, the power of Reiki, like all of these things. It really makes me giddy, because it's like, holy cow, this is going to be one intense attunement. And I am just so excited to not only experience this for myself, but to share this with you. So whether you're just starting out in your Reiki journey and you're not yet attuned to Reiki 1 and you're ready for that, let us know. We can get you into the course. You can start, once you sign up with the course, you can actually start moving on your 4 hours of self-paced videos. So you don't have to do that like the day of the course or after the course. You can actually jump in and start working on that right away. You'll also get access to our homeroom Reiki support for 1 month, which will be, I think, 2 sessions, 2 homeroom classes. One of my favorites. I'm not an early morning person, and I know one of the homerooms is typically like at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I typically show up for that because it's that good. I really do. 9 o'clock hour, I never book clients at 9. I am not ready yet. So that comes with the course as well.
Yeah, if you have any questions about Reiki 1, let us know in the chat. We are truly here to support you. Like RJ said, we're going to be your professors for this course, and we're so excited about the multidimensional attunement process and everything in between. But one thing I do also want to add in here is this attunement is for anyone. Even if you've already been through Reiki 1, even if you've already gone all the way through Reiki Masters, you can always get reattuned. You can always open up those energy fields and allow yourself to connect once again. So if this is an experience that you want to have just for the attunement, let us know. Reach out. We'll get it set up so that you can come with us and have that reattunement, even if you've already been through Reiki 1, because as you guys know, we are forever students. We are forever connecting and understanding energy in a new way. And so attunements are a fantastic way to do that. But like RJ was saying, we have our wonderful Reiki Home room for those of you who are already Reiki practitioners. It doesn't matter where you are on your journey, whether you just got your Reiki 1 or you're all the way through Reiki Master Teacher. We welcome all Reiki practitioners, and what this really is a monthly support group dedicated to meeting you where you're at, to giving you that support that maybe you lost once you graduated from your Reiki course. If you lost touch with your teacher, or you wish that you had that Reiki mentor to bounce questions off of, this is what Home is for. It's here to support you wherever you are. And it's a monthly subscription, so it's not a long-term commitment unless you want it to be. But it's something where we meet twice a month on live Zoom calls, and both Christine and myself are there to support you, to answer questions, to offer you advice for your business, for your practice. If you have a client that had a really interesting situation and you want to connect with other practitioners about it, it's a chance to come into a like-minded soul community. And in addition to that, you also get a dedicated community on Facebook, as well as a 3-part meditation series to help you jumpstart your Reiki practice, accept that abundance, create the Reiki practice of your dreams, and everything in between. So Homeroom is a wonderful way if you're looking to connect with Reiki practitioners, to get additional support, and to do all of it for a really low monthly cost. So that is something as well that if you're interested in, just let us know. Head over to our website,